As always, the Democrats, the left-wing extremists, libtards are going to have to eat crow again, because just like with everything else, President Trump was right. It was just announced China wants to make a deal, especially knowing that Trump just increased the tariffs on them all the way up to 125%. U.S. President says Xi is a proud man. I know him very well. They'll figure it out. I just did a video recently with Scott Bessent, as far as with the Secretary of Treasury, and he explained how the Chinese economy is not stable. China has a trade surplus. They'd have a consumption problem. They're good at exporting, but they're not buying anything. And the fact that they're just teetering so narrowly that these tariffs from the United States could cripple the Chinese economy. But Xi did what any strong leader wants to do, and that's save face in front of his people. So let's get into this article. It says U.S. and then I have a clip from President Trump that I'm going to share with you too. U.S. President Donald Trump said Wednesday that China is eager to make a trade deal, but uncertain about its timing after Washington raised tariffs on Chinese imports to 125%. We have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quick to go about it. Trump said in front of the White House as he welcomed a group of race car drivers ahead of the 2025 Daytona 500. President Xi is a proud man. I know him very well. They'll figure it out, he said. Trump said he expects a deal is going to be made with China as well as other nations, saying the agreements will be fair deals for everybody. He reiterated that the previous trade terms had unfairly harmed the U.S. They were sucking us dry. You can't do that anymore. Trump remarks came after he announced that the U.S. would impose a 125% tariff on Chinese imports due to Beijing's lack of respect for global markets. He also authorized a 90-day pause and a lowered reciprocal tariffs of 10% to other countries other than China. So as you can see, the master of the art of the deal is making deals happen. As a matter of fact, let me show you this clip. Check out what Scott Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, had to say about China's economy just this morning before this news even broke. Check this out.
This morning, China says it will impose an 84% tariff on U.S. goods, another retaliation move in response to President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. Those tariffs took effect last night at midnight, including the 104% tariff on China. Joining me now is U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Morning, Maria.
Well, I want to start right there. Give us your reaction to more escalation coming out of China, taking their tariffs up to 84% on top of President Trump's retaliatory tariffs.
Well, Maria, I think it's unfortunate that the Chinese actually don't want to come and negotiate because they are the worst offenders in the international trading system. They have the most imbalanced economy in the history of the modern world. And I can tell you that this escalation is a loser for them, that they have some very smart, the economists, the academicians, technocrats within their bureaucracy, and they would be telling the leadership that we do not have the edge here. They are the surplus country, that their exports to the U.S. are 5 times our exports to China. So they can raise their tariffs, but so what?
If you enjoyed this video, I really do appreciate you watching. Do me a solid and hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a Cash App or a Super Chat. You hitting that like button really helps the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. And once you do, hit that notification bell and select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. As you heard, it's so what? Now let's listen in to President Trump as he lays out what's going on. And you know what, man? The media, those Democrats, they know what Trump is doing will work. Imagine how many Democrat politicians whose palms have been greased by the Chinese government to slip in this BS benefits for China. And now when Trump levels the tariffs out, there will be no need for some of these lobbying politicians to get paid from the Chinese government. So much for them coming over there and getting that special treatment from some of their better workers, if you know what I mean, what they do for them politicians over there. I truly believe they have some politicians, they have some dirt on them. I don't know if they messed with a young person over there or did something, because some of the crap, it's like when Joe Biden allowed the spy balloon to fly across the country for a whole week. There's no leader of any country that would allow that unless if you push back, something's going to happen. But now we know Joe Biden probably wasn't even conscious that it was happening And they were telling him, oh, it's just a hot air balloon, Mr. President. He said, oh, I like it. Let it go, you know. But let's listen to President Trump. I am so excited because I'm watching this America First movement happen in real time. This is the best time to be alive because we are truly watching the transition of America return to its heights of superpower, manufacturing, industrialism happening in real time. And it's because of this man right on our screen, President Trump. Salute, good sir. What do you feel about this news? Leave it in the comments. I mean, how do you feel about what's going on? I'm sure if you're watching this, it's making you just as happy as it is as I am.
You started the morning saying be cool, and then just a few hours later, there was a pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you
his face? He know he the man.
To put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know. They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, you know, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. Roger actually said it. Charles Schwab was here a little while ago, one of the great financial people, and he said he's been waiting for 40 years for somebody to do what I did over the last month. And if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have a country. It wouldn't be sustainable. So I'm honored to have done it. And, you know, look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. You know, it's one of those things they don't know how quite. They're proud people. And President Xi's a proud man. I know him very well. And they don't know quite how to go about it, but they'll figure it out. They're in the process of figuring it out, but they want to make a deal. And we have many other countries, as you know, many more than 75, and they all want to come. And they want to come here, or they'll go to Commerce, or they'll go to Treasury. We have our great senators here and congressmen. They'll call John. They'll do somebody. They'll go through somebody, but they're all calling. How do we do this? They all want to make a deal. Somebody had to do what we did, and I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it. And that's what I did with China, because they did retaliate. So we'll see how it all works out. I think it's going to work out amazing. I think that our country is going to be at the end of a year or shorter, but I think we're going to have something that nobody would have dreamt possible.
Right on to President Trump. I just wanted to jump in and share that information with you because I thought it was phenomenal with everybody panicking and going crazy. And right after he made this announcement, the markets went through the roof. And so just like always, the lamestream liberal libtard media and those politicians lied, and it was going to cripple the country in this big recession. All it was is to force other countries to level the playing field. We are the big dog consumer. I heard a number that we consume something like 40 to 45% of the world's goods. We are the golden goose. So why are we letting other countries big dog us? Why are we letting China make $1 trillion off of us in trade, strengthen their military, and then strong arm us on superconductors and other things that we need? And they're doing it with slave labor. That's what happens in dictatorships and in socialists. You don't have independent, free-thinking individuals who can create and add value. The government puts itself in a position where everything has to be done by the government. And whenever the government is in charge of business, it never goes right, ever. So I'm so happy, man. And of course, I already went to my Facebook and I did this video because it was so many people that were tagging me. Oh, what about this, Brian? And I was telling them, like President Trump said, be cool. And it paid off. If you've watched this video to this point, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, please be safe, be great, and let's keep making America first. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.